Looks like the bans were Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen. That makes a lot of sense. I'm assuming we can't tell from the colors, but Battlefield Eternity was pick one. I'm assuming that L5 banned Infernal Shrines. Might have been maybe Black just because they're afraid of Dommy's. Not Dommy's carry. What am I thinking? Wrong team. We heard that. I mean, the alert's off. I don't know what to tell you. So we're getting in 2 game 1 here. We'll see who was blue and who was red. So MB Black was blue. So they actually banned Infernal Shrines against L5. Okay, you can respect that. L5 immediately banning out the Zeratul. This is Battlefield of Eternity. Kyocha has been demonstrating a really high proficiency on Zeratul lately. MB Black banning Vala. Whenever you're thinking about Battlefield of Eternity, it really does come in a lot of cases down to making sure that one team just has slightly worse race than you do. And there's certain heroes you can pick up where you can manipulate the draft in such a way that you always have better race, and Ball's one of those heroes. EDC banned out, though. I'm a little bit surprised by that, considering the propensity that L5 has to pick up Muradin for Noblesse. Noblesse is arguably the best Muradin player in the world. EDC was nerfed, right, because this is played on 2.0. I don't understand why they would ban ETC there. Ming Tyrael picked up. That gives them a lot of mobility. It gives them poke race, what I like to call poke race for the Ming. I kind of like the decision. I want to see a support picked up here for L5 and then a support ban potentially coming in as a round. It'll put a lot of pressure on MB Black to figure out exactly how they want the support structure set up. The thing is that Sank makes every support decent because it doesn't matter if they lack burst healing when you have Sank. The news case, this is literally how I watch HGC. I'll just be sitting here usually talking to myself being like, oh, they could do that, they could do that. What's the best pickup for them here? I wouldn't be surprised to see a Vala picked up here for L5 just because of the race potential, and Q-Build is a good follow-up to a Muradin stun. When you have Noblesse, you know those stuns are going to hit. There's the Vala, alright. Oh, and they're actually picking up Arthas. I like that decision. So not so much on ladder, but in competitive play, especially in Korea, where Tyrael's obviously played a lot, Arthas is considered one of the best ways of dealing with Tyrael, because Tyrael's primary thing is mobility and being speedy and making everyone else speedy and being super annoying, whereas Arthas just slows everyone down. So in a coordinated environment, Arthas does a lot to shut down the things that Tyrael enables for his team really well. And obviously after the buffs, Arthas is just a really good hero in the meta right now. Ariel ban, making sure they can't have the Vala Sport. I like that quite a bit. And then the Hammer ban coming out of L5. That's an MB Black special on Battlefield of Eternity. We do see a lot of Sergeant Hammer on Battlefield. The zone control, the race potential, everything that Sergeant... Like, this is Sergeant Hammer's map. It almost feels like Battlefield of Eternity was built by someone who liked maining Sergeant Hammer. Malfurion picked up the Mana Sustain, the Health Sustain, Twilight Dream synergies. It's going to be really good. Malph's Root's not generally a good initiator, so by picking up Malph, it makes it feel very much like they're going to pick up a stun tank, which maybe means they're going to go Varian. Varian Tyrael Ming. Varian will also help with Mortal Strike against both Muradin's self-sustain and Arthas' self-sustain. That is incredibly annoying to deal with. The risk is, of course... It's a 2-lane map. If you're losing early game, it's going to be very, very difficult to come back. But Varian gives them such good pick-off potential. Oh, they're picking up the fall stats. They want the Gust. They want that global potential. And they want the burst. They still could last pick Varian. It's safe for them to last pick Varian because L5's not going to take it. In all likelihood, they're not going to go, one support, triple backliner. That is something we have seen from teams. If this were, Trick Esport or something, maybe they break out Tyrande Varian in the last 2 picks here. They probably wouldn't have gone Paula in that case, though. Thinking about it. I feel like at this point, they realize that, what's the worst thing that MB Black could pick up, and they have some pretty flexible options. They don't want to go double support. They definitely don't want to do that. It's a 2-lane map, and Varian is just too good at shutting down healing. He's already a good pickup for them. Double support would make that even worse. Lucio's a bit of a risk. We haven't seen Tassadar picked up by anyone since the nerfs. Okay. They are going to pick up the Lucio, and they're also going to pick up the Tychus. Tychus. Oh, and they pick up... I forgot about Artanis. So Artanis gives them a really good race here. I'm a little bit surprised that neither team picked up Greymane. I think Greymane might have been a little bit better than that Falstad pickup. But Gus does give them a lot of control, so I understand that decision. Greymane, I think, also would have been better for Ming for reset synergy. But if their plan was to pick up Artanis, I understand why they wanted the Falstad. A good swap. A swap Gus combo guarantees a kill. Like, if you can swap someone into your team and then gust everyone away from the Artanis, that person's just dead. There's just nothing they can do about it. You can fast forward a little bit here. Just a little bit. Yeah, right into the game. Pretty standard talent pickups at level 1. This is a new trend, by the way, that we've seen Power Hungry on Ming. Ming has taken so many hits to her damage, and she really does require resets to be good, that people have gotten to a point where they're taking Power Hungry just to do more damage because they need that little bit of extra to get the resets. If you don't get a reset on Ming, then it doesn't matter if you're alive, you've still lost the fight, right? So there's been a trend more and more to take Power Hungry on Ming and just position better, play better. Kyocha will be able to hold this lane. Each W will clear a minion. He's going to lose some tower shots, but he shouldn't lose anything too much more than that. He can't really step up to the Arthas. He can chunk the Arthas a little bit if he gets some sort of really good swap play, but in a straight-up 1v1 in lane, that's unlikely to happen. Nice route. Tychus ends up going down. Good body blocking by Tis, and then a good evacuation. Kyocha sustaining in the lane. Notice he triggers his shield and then backs up. He's just mounts, he's waiting, and then as soon as his W will re-trigger his shield, he comes back in. Nice rotation by Nimbless. Hits the stun. Kyocha should die here unless he has a Q. I don't know why he swapped there. That swap actually killed him. A little bit of a questionable play from Kyocha, to say the least. And meanwhile, we're going to see Lucio rotating through mid. So good rotation so far by L5. As soon as they ate that kill in the bottom lane, they realized they had to get a kill top to even things out. They got it. Tis with the rotation up top to make sure that Soak does not get missed. They are going to be relatively even in experience, but Tis just doesn't have wave clear yet, so Noblesse is going to clear and start moving. And it looks like L5 is going to be on top of their Immortal with their race a little bit faster. And if Vala actually comes down, Vala's not racing. They're actually... Oh, there, Vala does come down. I thought they were thinking about defending for a second there. Nice lockdown on a Merryday. Merryday a little bit overextended there. I don't think he was expecting them to be in the bush. I think he thought they were defending too. So he tried to go in and get some poke with the Moonburn. Not quite enough. Falstad going down as well. Nice zoning route there. And Kyocha's just going absolutely ham, trying to see if he can secure a kill. Without Tychus, he's relatively safe, so he can do this. And he wants to keep them off the Immortal as much as possible. Fighting around the Immortal means always the risk of stuns. There's always the potential also that he can get a really good swap and secure a kill that way. He's going to start to rotate up now. Looking for the damage. Falstad with the zoning. They're actually both racing. This is something that I should have commented on more in the draft. Falstad's actually one of the better racers just because Lightning Rod does so much single target damage and it is available consistently. And so as soon as he Lightning Rods, he gets that damage, then he rotates down. Kyocha, rooted. Tychus, he stun actually procs, and he gets the swap onto Noblesse, so he actually gets to escape, and he kills Vala on the way out. That was a beautiful swap, made up for any sort of earlier shenanigans around the gate. Kyocha, almost no health. Really good understanding of Artanis' limits and his mechanics there. Very nicely done. And killing Vala is literally the most important kill they could have gotten because that's the racer. If they can force the transition now, there is a possibility. I think they win. I think they win the race by a little bit in a straight 50-50 if everyone's on it. They are going to keep zoning, though, Tyrael. Bullying people away. Kyocha can't really get zoned off the Immortal at this point. Noblesse can go in there for the 1v1 if he wants to, but he's the only one who has the mobility to get away, and he's not actually going to be able to kill Kyocha under these circumstances. So they are going to focus on Merryday instead. Nice route. Merryday's a little bit overextended. He's very low on mana. Kyocha actually coming in for the fight here. Noblesse does get isolated a little bit. He's going to be fine. CSC is going to be fine. Misses the Q. The swap comes in later than the stun. Kyocha was clearly going for the stun play there, but didn't quite manage to get it. However, Tychus and Murden both went down in the back line. And we're going to see Kyocha right back on the Immortal. and they will actually manage to win it. This is such a good brawl map. This is MVB Black's specialty in a lot of ways. So totally expect MVB Black to win this map, which is an important consideration. It's been a trend lately in HGC in these top-level games where teams are very, very close together, that whoever wins the first game wins the set because they win with loser's advantage. They win the first game, and then they win Game 3 and win Game 5 as well. I'm also reading chat, by the way. If anyone has any specific questions about some of the calls that are being made, you can feel free to ask those. You're going to see another gank attempt on a Noblesse here. He is just on Kyochi, excuse me. Here, Noblesse does secure the kill. Zhang He almost ends up going down. A lot of damage coming onto him, but Kyochi, again, he seems so good in the brawls. He seems so good. Oh, nice pick on SCSC there. Beautiful barrel roll by Saki. He seems so good in the group fighting stage of Artanis, but he seems really rough as a solo laner. He doesn't quite seem to understand how to play safely as Artanis in lane. And, you know, part of that obviously is just that L5 is really good at the rotations. Noblesse has really good mechanics when it comes to getting those picks on Murden especially. But it's twice he's died and he didn't really need to. He played a little bit safer. Saki flies down, picks up most of the soak. I think he missed one minion wave. And Enemy Black still ahead in experience. This is one of those valuable things about the global. You can make sure that you don't miss that soak, even if your solo laner does get picked off. Globals just give you so much flexibility in terms of where you can be on the map and being on the map being where you need to be on the map when you need to be there. Swoy styling with his wall riding. Hallmark of a good Lucio play. The more often your wall ride bonus is up, the better you are at Lucio. And we're going to see bottom camp taken and then a lot of pressure put on here. Follow through picked up at 7 for even more race potential, even more burst. Pretty standard talents across the board otherwise. And we are going to see that top Shaman camp was already taken, so already starting to pressure. This does mean that MV Black will be able to rotate Falset up there and clear it out before it gets any real value, and it won't be up during the Immortal phase, where if MV Black decides to back off, they can get their own Shaman camp and have it available just in time for the Immortal phase, and they're already starting to do that. They got the front wall, that was all they wanted. They're accelerating the race to 10 as much as they can. As soon as they get 10, they'll get the next Immortal. L5, realizing they're on the Shaman camp, immediately rotates down and gets the bottom wall. That will almost catch them up in terms of levels. It will be close to them level 9, but they're still a half level behind, even though they do pick it up. And meanwhile, Falstead pushing out the top lane. Their hope right now, since they've rotated 5's bottom, is to pick a fight. They back up. You can see Noblesse is sitting in the bush. SCSC looking to get some quest stacks. Kyocha eating that Q does give him one more quest stack. I don't think it's close to being done yet, maybe about halfway. I'm going to see Nitrogen with rotation. Saki is just going to fly out, no grenade for the interrupt, and spawned favorably for the defense, but with 10 picked up, MB Black is just going to be able to race this down, force the halftime. There's no possibility that they do anything but just give this up. That's going to be a full Shield Immortal going into an already opened fort. If MB Black gets a pick here, they could potentially get the first keep of the game off of this second Immortal, which would be pretty exceptional. Actually, L5 is aware of the danger, and even though they don't have heroics, they've decided to go in and just try and force the fight. Nice boobs coming out, but Sanctification is going to negate a lot of that value. Gust and Twilight Dream still available, so they can potentially have some sort of playmaking. I believe Fly should be back up here in a moment. Nice route, but SCSC is going to go down. That's not enough PL. Saki with the Lightning Rod and the increased movement speed from his trait. And he's going to continue to push out top, so they're really going for as big a lead as they can. They don't think they're going to be able to get more than this here. They respect L5 as a team. They don't think they're going to give up any additional picks that could potentially lead into getting a full keep, so they're putting the Falstead in the top lane while they 4-man push bot. The siege damage from Kyoshi is going to be exceptional here. He can W the buildings if he wants to. He does instantly start to work that down. He wants to preserve as much health on the Immortal Shield as possible. They're focusing the building while they have it, and as soon as the building goes down, they're going to try and trip the ball. Kyoshi should be looking for a swap here, potentially, and getting a little bit distracted. It was nice blind, negating a lot of damage from a CS. He gets the swap. The root's actually late. That's a big mistake by Merryday, and they are going to pick up heroics in time. They're forcing the fight behind the Immortal. They want to fight, and they don't care if the Immortal gets the wall for free. Noblesse may end up going down here. He should have Dwarfs available in a second, but it's not in time. It does end up going down, and the resets from Ming allow the pick onto Vala. Nitrogen's going to be going down as well. That's a 4-man wipe, and that's going to be at least keep. Zhanghe's going to go down as well. There's no possibility he gets out of the situation. L5 needed to fight there as soon as they got 10 behind the Immortal, but it just wasn't enough. They did not have the resources they need, and that could actually be game. They have enough siege potential with Kyocha, with that amateur opponent, which does do add extra damage to buildings. Absolutely insane fight. Huge focus on Noblesse. Sank is back, available again. Kyocha's the only one not on Sank. He's like, I don't need no Sank. It's fine. And that will be game 1 going at MB Black. I wonder how many games Kyocha has on Artanis. Like, how often have they scrimmed with Artanis in practice? That's my question. Moving along. So it looks like the next map will be Dragonshire. And again, this is the map choice of MVB Black. So in both cases, MVB Black has been allowed to choose their map. And this is another map where, I'm not crazy, right? Sorry. It's another map where the soul lane really matters quite a lot. And one of the major advantages in the current sort of rock, paper, scissors nature of solo laning is if you can last pick your solo laner, you're guaranteed to win that matchup if you understand how all the matchups work. So picking a map that is very rotation based, I understand. That's the strength of L5. So picking a map where you're going to have a player like Kyocha trying to win that top lane and they're going to last pick their solo laner puts you in a situation where you have to be rotating and out rotating, or you're not going to be winning because you're going to be losing a third of the map by default. I'm a little bit concerned that they took them to a map like this. That's the map I think MB Black would have picked up if they had won a game and were forced or lost a game, right? I'm crazy. That's why MB Black picked this map. That's the point I'm getting at. That's why MB Black picked this map, I think. We'll have to see if that gets reflected in the draft. Falstead banned out, Nazeeba banned out, and then Dahaka immediately picked up by L5. I want MB Black to pick up their tank here. Maybe tank and support, maybe wave clear and support. I don't want to see anything even resembling a solo laner. I pick up the Zeratul, and they pick up the Muradin. I'm okay with that. It gives them rotation. It gives them a really good rotator. Muradin's by far the best tank at controlling vision on Dragonshire. It takes Muradin away from L5. I don't really want to see Noblesse be playing Muradin in this set, if possible. Just depends on how the drafts go. But arguably, in competitive at least, this is Muradin's best map for teams that are really good at controlling vision, which L5 obviously is. The Falstead ban's a little bit surprising, but considering they pick up Zeratul. But if they allowed Falstead through, then they might have had to go through double global if they wanted to have the same 2 picks. So I understand the decision. Buying me Black there. Hey, Osterman. Again, the situation. L5 is risking a tank lock if they don't pick up their tank here. But I feel like they don't necessarily want to draft conventionally. They do pick up their tank because they pick up Li Ming for the burst potential, and then they pick up Johanna for the wave clear that will cover the 4-man rotation very well in terms of making sure they can push in. It also doesn't give any hints as to what their last 2 picks are going to be, but it does leave open all of the non-cleanse supports, including Ariel and Lucio. If they got that lucky, they could draft the back half of their draft. They could draft Ariel, Lucio. Either one, and if they drafted Ariel, they could draft her with an acceptable battery. So that leaves their draft really flexible. I like that decision quite a bit, and they don't get tank locked this way, which is really important. Hammer banned out by MB Black. Hammer is just one of those heroes that can get a really good early game tempo advantage, especially on maps like Dragonshire. You can start winning that bottom lane really hard. If you can get the well early, you've basically secured the bottom temple for a good portion of the entire mid game, which is pretty difficult to deal with. Malf banned out, and MB Black decides they don't want to deal with Twilight Dream or Roots. I kind of like that decision. Also, just the mana sustain that Malfurion offers is no other support offers the mana sustain. And on a skirmish-based map where everyone's kind of rotating around, looking to soak, looking to get minor advantages wherever they can, Malfurion stacks up so incredibly well because your mana users basically never have to back. Most of the sustained supports have healing to the point where you can make it so they never have to back because of health, but Malfurion's the only one who can make it so you never have to back because of mana. Vala Ariel picked up. I like the Ariel deny here because it's still potential that L5 could pick up Gul'dan. I don't know about drafting Vala by herself like that. Murden's a strong independent dwarf, so I like that decision. He can pretty much take care of himself in fights, which, especially post 13, which means that Ariel can focus solely on keeping Vala alive. And with only Blessed Shield as initiation, L5's going to have a little bit of trouble getting to Vala. Also denies SCSC's Vala, which is one of the scariest things in the entire world. L5 also does like to run Johanna Vala in situations where they can set up Condemn into Reign of Vengeance. Karazim Tychus picked up. Tychus has long been considered a hard counter to Muradin in the Korean meta. I have the alerts off, guys, but for some reason the sound is still there. I don't know what to do about that. And we're going to see Ragnaros picked up. Huh. Ragnaros can tie almost any lane. His wave clear is that good, even though his sustain is pretty questionable now after his recent nerfs. I don't know if he wins the lane, though. So it definitely feels like MB Black is drafting for teamfight. They want to do VP Smash and just tie lanes. If they can tie lanes, get to 10, and then be in a situation where they can consistently get picks, they're going to be in really, really good shape. That does play to their strengths as a team, but I'm always hoping that MB Black will branch out a little bit. So we're going to see both teams maneuvering mid, neither one doing any sort of minion... we are seeing minion blocking, actually, from L5, right as I say that. So they are going to make sure that the fight happens more on their side of the map, if possible. Zhongha's just going to grab the soak here so that he has the essence and then immediately go to the top lane. I don't expect him to do anything else meaningful. Yep, there's the burrow, and we're going to see both teams clearing, rotating, and it begins. Picking up globes is going to be really, really critical because, again, Ariel's PvE sustain is so poor, and Vala doesn't have any self-sustain at all until later on in the game. There's definitely a replay when I get my hands on it that is going to be used for going alone to analyze that Rag versus Dahaka top lane, although of course it will change substantially with Dahaka's rework incoming. You can see where it is for the moment at least. And we're going to see Kyocha Tiss in the mid, and then Ariel Vala in the bot lane, kind of doing a 1-2-2 with the most rotation gank pressure in the mid. So Zeratul Muradin can rotate whenever. We're going to see the hide behind the wall. This is a classic Muradin thing you can just do on Dragonshire. If someone overextends in the lane, you can instantly jump, get the stun, and get the kill, as long as you pay attention. Nice hit on a Nostrigen, but no follow-up, not enough follow-up damage, I should say. Nostrigen did have Force Armor this game, by the way. That is a respect to the Zeratul pickup, even though Power Hungry has been a pretty common picked up. Kyoshi not going to get the Dragon Knight. There's no way Nostrigen's going to be able to get the interrupt there. He does with the missiles. Tiss is just bullying everyone away, forcing them to take so much damage. And it looks like the Hawk is actually trying to kill Rag in the top lane before getting the point, just pushing him all the way back in, trading a lot of health, and now he'll Hearth, capture the top point, and then burrow back in. Oh, that was so close! They actually end up trading Vala for Tychus in the bot lane for the contest, and Karazim definitely wins the 1v1 versus Ariel. Ariel's going to try and stand on the point for a little bit. He does have a full bar of hope, but not enough, and Kyocho with the rotation down. El Swoy is going to be forced to back up. So MB Black rotating really well so far in the early game. L5 looks a little bit off. I feel like they're not getting the heroes that they wanted to be playing. I think that's probably a big part of where they're at. We are going to see another channel for MB Black. Kyocha could potentially pick this up, and we're seeing again Zhongha taking it back in the top lane. This is the weird dynamic of wave clear versus wave clear top laners on Dragonshire. One clears the waves and goes to the point. The other one clears the wave and goes to the point, and then they just keep alternating who ends up having control. As long as Zeratil's visible, the Haka can play relatively aggressively. He's not worried about getting rotated on by anyone else. But the moment Zeratil disappears, the Haka has to play back, and he wants to pressure that lane as aggressively as possible. It's not enough for him. It's such a favorable matchup in many ways. He doesn't want to just, hold the point and tie the lane. He wants to aggressively push the lane and hold the point slightly less often, but get a lot of tower shots used up, get a lot of free structure damage. And again, barely holding the point in time. Very nicely done by Zhonghai. He's timing these things out extremely well. Saki moving back up. We'll grab it, but the waves are going to arrive, which means Zhonghai is going to grab the soak first and then be able to move back onto the point, which means that Saki's going to have to rotate off the point to make sure he doesn't miss that soak and doesn't lose too much structure damage. A little bit of a collapse here onto Merryday. He's going to be absolutely fine. Didn't even really get significantly chunked. Nice rotational attempt here, but this is his Johanna. Does have Iron Skin. Beautiful body blocks by everyone on the team. He's just stuck in that corner. Nice detainment strike, but they end up trading. They don't trade 1 for 1. We do see them getting out, and that's going to be another big condemn. Noblesse with no health whatsoever, barely getting out, and that is going to be a 2 for none coming out of L5, getting their first distinct advantage in the game. This is closer to what I was expecting from the 1-10 game. They really feel like they ought to be dominating their lanes. Envy Black has done an exceptional job of holding, but their pre-10 game is so weak. They were bound to give up at least 1 Dragon Knight, and I think this is going to be it. The question from this point on is, can Envy Black catch up once they hit 10? You kick away. Tis just clearing the way of being out there in front of Reset aggressively. This allows Reset to put as much pressure on the Dragon Knight as he can. Saki again just playing safe in the top lane. Making sure he gets that soak. Kyoshi getting the bot soak. They don't want to fall behind. It looks like Sulphur's Hungers has been completed. And again, I apologize for the noise in the background if you guys can hear that. There is construction going on at my house. Dragon Knight should get mid and top wall, or mid and bot walls. I'm surprised they're not getting more value top. If they'd gone top, they could have gotten the well pretty easily, and that from that point onward, Zhonghai could have won that lane. Rag escape isn't good enough to be safe when the walls aren't there. They do lack but there's no global. Since their global is in the top lane, they're not going to have someone go to top and globally gank Rag. So they're setting up a situation where the value of Dahaka can be that he is managing top really, really effectively and already winning it, and then he can come down into team fights whenever necessary. So they don't need to focus on top lane since it's already being won, and Zhonghai doesn't really need any assistance. Also, if they push the lane in too far, Zhonghai could end up being overextended, which would make him vulnerable to Zeratul rotations. It's one of those things you always think about in terms of your comp, of exactly how good the escape is from your top laner, if they're dominating the lane, if they need help, how vulnerable is the enemy team top laner, how good are our rotational tools in terms of potentially securing that pick. It defects where you're going to go with Dragon Knight. Beautiful Blessed Shield. Wow, that was an instant kill. Not an instant kill on Ariel, but a lot of free damage there. Detainment Strike almost managed to make the save, but Blessed Shield was just too good. Tis with the zoning. Noblesse will end up getting some freaking dems here, and Zhonghai coming in with the drag. Tis barely jumps out in time. Saki going to do rag things, just go solo camps really, really efficiently. We're going to see Kyoshi come up and help out a little bit. But bottom is being pressured in with the siege camp. They're going to be able to get this last wall down. What the Dragon Knight began, the siege camp ends. They probably could have stuck around for the fourth there. They saw the Bruiser camp get picked up, so they knew at least one person was there, potentially two. A little bit more efficient to do with two people in the majority of circumstances. They could have potentially gotten the fountain and then backed up, but they opted not to do that. A little bit surprising. Again, Tis soaking. Mid lane is Meriden. Surprisingly good wave clear with Thunderburn, something you can always do when you make sure the lanes are always soaked whenever you're wave clear. Applies to Hero League, applies to competitive. Last time I saw Murden, he was mid, so they haven't seen him in a while. He knows he's missing Kyocha mid, picking up that soak as Zeratul. Looks like he's potentially looking for an angle on the Ling Ming, and we're going to see Zhonghai. Does not manage to juke the drag. Saki gets hit by that. Beautiful play there by Zhonghai. And with the Bruiser camp picked up, Rag's going to have a hard time doing anything about getting top, which means it's up to the rest of his team right now to shark around and see if they can do anything. And again, we're seeing Kyocha just looking for that Ling Ming to overextend even a little bit. but it looks like it's not happening. Being playing very safe. Nice Rain of Vengeance, not going to be enough. And again, the burrow in by Zhanghe going to allow them to secure the kill on the ball. They do end up trading 1-for-1. Mary Day is going to live here. Drag will not be available in time. Kyocha may end up going down. No, it does VP, but no smash. Rag's not going to be here in time. And that means that VP is basically wasted. It does save him, but it's not going to be enough. Burrow, smash, but Zhanghe popped adaptation, gets healed full off of the smash. And Tis with Avatar, trying his best, still does not have healing static, needs that desperately to be the frontliner in these fights without the battery of Vala to keep the team topped off. So Avatar was forced to be burned just to survive, and that ends up being another trade in favor of L5. If Rag had been there just 3 seconds sooner, that VP would have been really reasonable. But forced to burn it early, a little bit of a brawl. Reset is really the key to Enemy Black's comp. If Reset dies, then the comp kind of falls apart. L5 aware of that, immediately diving Reset at the start of every single fight. A little bit surprised we didn't see Aegis come down, but looks like it was just too much burst. Too much focus from L5. Both teams picking up siege camps, trying to reset the lane pressure. Such good rotations. This has been such a good game. I feel like L5 was very thrown off in that game one by not only Artanis pick, but how well Kyocha played it, at least when it came to the Mortal phase and the brawling. It seems something that they're much more comfortable with, much better handle on, something they expected to be dealing with. Again, nice Stormbolt into the Rain of Vengeance. CSC taking a lot of damage there. Blessed Shield actually misses. That's all of their initiation down, but 7-sided strike into the Condemn. But Avatar is available, and the heal coming right on out of that. We are going to see Reset doing a lot more damage here momentarily. He tries to vault out, still gets hit by the Condemn, but it's on his side of the wall, so he's going to be a little bit safer. And Mary Day resetting everyone's health bar basically to full, pretty close. Healing static is finally picked up. Avatar's about to expire. And the pressure is real. Zhanghe came down for this fight, though, so they're going to try and pressure in on this fort in the 4v3. Rag is getting a lot of value top in the interim. Huge damage going on to Tis. Kyocha in the backline does not have VP, so he cannot save his team. Does hit the W to get some free damage on a Nachogen and then bolts out. That's all of the Force Armor stacks, I believe, which means that Nachogen's in a lot of trouble if they stay in this fight and he can get focused down. Ragnaros backs off as the fight disengages. Bruisers respawn. He's going to go make sure he picks up those on cooldown. Since he can solve them, he wants to maintain this top lane pressure as aggressively as possible. The farther that lane is pushed in, the easier it is to control each individual temple. And again, Zhanghe with the rotation to the top lane. As soon as those bruisers start pushing the lane, Rag's going to have a distinct advantage in terms of controlling this point, which means that L5 needs to either rotate up there for the gank on Ragnos or focus on controlling bottom. You can see they're focusing on controlling bottom instead. They are controlling the entirety of the Bermuda Triangle. Another Blessed Shield miss. They were hoping they could get the 7-sided onto Tis. They would have had enough time, I think, if they'd made that work and the grenade had been perfect. That would have been a kill, but the Blessed Shield miss, it's not going to happen. No bless. Fortunately, we don't have that available for another 45 seconds. So now they're forced to play passively and goaltend the turn in if they can, but that's going to be a beautiful stun chain onto Ming. She's dead, and that is going to be a VP onto 2 with the Rain of Vengeance. That's going to be at least 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills total in that fight going up for Enemy Black, and that's what they've been looking for all game long. That VP with a follow-up. It doesn't need to be the smash. As long as if it could be a Rain of Vengeance, as long as there's enough damage there, they're going to be in good shape. Noblesse pushing out the bot lane. Miniwave could actually secure a bottom fort almost, so they could end up trading mid fort and mid keep for bottom fort. That will give them even on experience, but the cattle pressure is going to be something L5 is going to have a very hard time dealing with from this point onward. And it is going to be the mid lane keep, so they're going to choke that rotational point. With the mid keep gone, with mid fork gone, that lane's always going to be pushed in, which means the wave should be usually providing vision MV Black instead of L5. And now they're going to be in a position where that rotational path is now open for MV Black as well as L5. And as a rotational team, that really handicaps L5's ability to be active on the map without overextending, especially against a team like MV Black that's always looking to brawl. Zhanghe moving back to the top lane, 18 to 16, 18 to just about 17. And enemy black at this point, if they're going to play safe, they'll sit back, they'll grab their camps, and they are grabbing siege and bruisers in the bot, and they'll just soak 20. They can get the wall fairly effectively. L5 might look to force after they pick up bruisers. Zhonghao can push that lane out for a couple more waves, and then Z in whenever necessary. And they are going to start the rotation down, so they are going to look for the fight. And the clear. Keeping an eye on... Oh! Zhonghao's already Z'd in. Aegis is used. VP in the back line. Reset actually misses his Rain of Vengeance, and we're going to see the smash miss as well. Very nicely done to get out of that. And so much damage. Noblesse is in a little bit of trouble, but tap is available here. 7-sided just for the peel. Zhonghao getting his resets on his W as he burrows around with his 16 talent. Tunneling Claws. If they can get the... Nope. Detainment Strike. Knocking Zhonghao away before the drag eventually go off, but Merryday will end up going down. That's exactly what they needed. Rag's takeover not going to be enough to zone everyone away. They also get the kill onto Reset. Oh, but they get the counter kill onto Noblesse and Ming off that Stormbolt. And L5, 2 for 2 when they were behind is technically a reasonable trade, but as I say, that Tis gets the kill into Sway, does not get the kill into Sway. Pops Avatar, does pop Stoneform, Sway with the dodge in. Gets the kill. Kyocha trying to get the Seeker in the Dark proc onto Sway. Secure that kill, does not manage to do so. Top will end up going down because of the Merc Camp. Triple stack of catapults in the top, and the mid lane have to be cleared off. If that fork goes down, they will end up getting close to catching up a little bit. No, not quite a lot. They're still a full level behind, but they accelerated their race towards 20 significantly. Unfortunately, the Dragon Knight is going to spawn, and Black is going to pick up 20 here. And this is a situation where, with an open core, 20 to 19, they can pick up a Dragon Knight and just end. L5 is going to have to pull something off here, potentially get a pick, or play Ring Around the Rosie with their global. They're going to need to do something, or they're just going to lose. And as I said, that Tis picking up the Dragon Knight for free. Enemy Black, all their lanes are pushed in, all the vision points were controlled. L5 knew they couldn't extend in. They didn't know necessarily where anyone was. It would have just been too big a risk. They're going to try and defend it core. They do have Tychus and 7-sided strike, which means they can bring this Dragon Knight down exceptionally quickly. And with those two things together, they should be able to make a reasonable defense here. If they didn't have those options, this would probably almost certainly be game. We can see the 7-sided already getting that value. The Dragon Knight's basically dead. And look at how just quickly that has been burned down. Odin is popped in the back to zone everyone away, and Black's like, okay, we get it. Core plus Odin is a little bit too much to handle, even if you are up a talent here. They go for the 3-man VP, and Smash and Vengeance both mistimed. That would have been game if both of those had hit, but MV Black with a little bit of error in their timing. Forced to back up. This means L5 is going to get a second life in this game. They will be able to pick up level 20 and have a full 20 versus 20 fight. They have a chance. Have a chance in this game. That was the game. That would have been the game if MV Black had hit that combo, and they just didn't hit it. There's no palm available. There's no burst protection. That was such a huge mistake to cancel the VP early like that and have Range of Vengeance miss, and because Range of Vengeance missed, Smash missed as well. So much pressure on Kyocha. Again, the huge focus on the reset here, but reset will be fine. Aegis was available, wasn't even had to be burned. I think Shield of Hope is still up as well. Rag with the takeover will manage to zone L5 away. They were looking for that fight. And Swoy being so aggressive on Charism, actually almost getting that kill on Dvala by himself. I almost wonder if it would have been worth it to pop 7-sided, but that would have just baited Aegis out and trading cooldowns at this point. Probably not valuable. There are a similar cooldown length as well, and would have potentially left him overextended for follow-up. Since the location you're in when 7-sided is very predictable, and there is a lot of potential free follow-up damage to a scenario where they know exactly where you're going to be from this comp. Bruisers capped bottom, L5 rotating in the bot lane, grabbing their own bruisers. They do want to destroy this bottom fort if they can, just to make the lane longer, give enemy Black less retreat space on any sort of potential chase. Enemy Black does not want that to happen. They want that fort alive and well. Comes down, clears the bruiser camp. We're going to see Zhonghao move up, grab the bruisers. Zeratul grabbing top. And meanwhile, Kyocha almost doesn't channel it all the way. Gets some free damage onto Zhonghao and then gets out. Zhonghao pops his essence. Not sure that was necessary, but he'll be absolutely fine. Rewind is now available for Zeratul, so there was a little bit of a risk there. And Ahaka did go change his survival, so he has that level 20 upgrade for adaptation, which means he's going to take a while to get his essence back. It won't be available for this fight. He's going to grab bottom, though. They're not actually going to go for the fight. Kyocha and Tis with the rotation. Oh, so much damage on the Noblesse. The rewind coming out, and not able to even proc Indestructible. Tunneling Claws out. Tis takes a lot of free damage there. He still has Avatar available. And Stone Form, potentially looking for the jump in. I think he also has Hardened Shield. He has a lot of tools. If he hadn't been bursted out past those tools, that would have been exceptionally bad. Noblesse with the wave clear mid. Wants to make sure that the catapults do not build up. Top is handled by the Bruiser camp at the moment. You mentioned how much I love not having to obs. Commentating without obsing is just way more pleasurable. Again, free damage under reset. Soy is just always constantly trying to keep reset, afraid of the Kharazim low as possible. I mean, you're going to see two people top actually clearing. If both of them reveal, then L5 is going to feel free to go for bottom and potentially go for the 5v3 mid if they can force. They do back off, though. They're going to grab their own siege instead. They're just trying to maintain lane pressure at this point. They are doing a lot to control mid. They want mid to be pushed out as far as possible. They don't want the catapults to get on their core at any point. They're just carefully managing their lanes as best they can. And mid black is constantly trying to push that mid in. The abuse of the global from L5 here has been really good. Never letting both capture points go over to MB black. As long as they keep mid pushed out and they can keep doing this, they can play an attrition game where whichever team makes a mistake first is going to be the team that loses. Again, so much damage going on to reset. The focus is real. 7-sided strike use just for the invulnerability frames there, but Swoy actually ends up going down. It's not what they wanted to have happen. SCSE, meanwhile, getting soloed in the back line by Kyocha. Very nicely done. Juking after juke, and that's going to be a smash on the Jin that's going to result in a kill there. Noblesse does not get out of here either. He should end up going down as Tis starts heading for core. Kyocha's going to chase down Noblesse. Don't know if this is strictly necessary, but it's happening. It's happening. Indestructible is procced. Kyocha, nice juke on the Condemn. Making sure that Dragon Knight cannot be picked up. Does end up going down. And that is going to be a 5-man ace from Enemy Black, up 2-0. 2-0 in a best of 5. If L5 wants to bring this back, they need to win 3 games in a row. I don't know if that can happen. 3 games in a row is a tough order. Let's look at the maps. Set pick 3 will be Towers of Doom. That's another map where you can win one lane really aggressively, but it is a map where pushing and macro and a lot of the things that L5 excels in over MV Black can be really relevant, particularly if you draft around them specifically. So we'll have to see. I would be amazed if this went 3-0 in MV Black's favor. L5 just didn't. Again, no spoilers. Please don't. I haven't watched the games, so I have absolutely no idea what happens. I'm gonna go refill my water, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. Turns out they had to turn off my water while they're doing the tear up in the backyard. So I don't have any water. Instead, I'm going to drink some leftover mixer from a party we had this weekend. It's Sprite. I don't normally just randomly drink soda, but there weren't a lot of other options. So Enemy Black versus L5, 2-0 currently on Towers of Doom. L5 banning out the Murden. I don't understand anything right now. TIS played Murden exceptionally well that game. Like, absolutely exceptionally well. Again, the focus on banning out globals. I want to put this Falstad ban in perspective. There was a time last year when NB Black was absolutely dominant over TNL, which was Noblesse's old team. Noblesse has long been considered one of the best brains in Heroes of the Storm in terms of macro and shot calling. And NB Black knew they could win team fights. NB Black actually drafted Falstad. This was pre-rework Falstad, not good Falstad. Had bribe. And Falstad literally did nothing but split push on Cursed Hollow and bribe camps, and NB Black won every fight 4v5 against TNL. That's how they won. So the emphasis on banning Falstad against a global team, against a macro team, or taking it to deal with their shenanigans has always been huge in Korea. Not at all surprised to see the Falstad ban. Not surprised to see the Zeratul pick up, considering how effective it was last game. I'm a little bit surprised to see the prioritization on Ming, and I actually think that's a mistake. I don't see a situation where Ming is worth that high priority as a pickup. I'm sorry, I said I was going. Yeah, I gotta drink in between games. I don't understand the Unibreak. The only reason that Ling Ming pickup can even begin to make sense, especially into a Zeratul, where you're kind of forced into taking Force Armor, is the lack of a Nubrak play in Korea. If a Nubrak were a staple pick in Korea, and it isn't, it's not something that it's not in their meta, that Ling Ming pick would just be dumpstered. But I don't think we're going to see Nubrak picked up. We are going to see the Ragnaros Tyrael. Not surprised to see that, just because it's going to be slight reluctance from NB Black to pick up Tyrael with the Zeratul on the other side, because you don't want to get in the game of chicken. And then VP Smash, really good. Tyrael has a really good disable, a really good deny ability for any sort of resets. Why is a noob being ignored? It's actually a really good question. I don't know why Korea doesn't play a Nubrak. I just know that they don't. It's just not in their wheelhouse. Malfurion banned out, limiting the support options again in terms of that sustain, so critical. Something that's underestimated about the mana sustain, really. If you have a rotational hero like Zeratul who's always trying to be annoying on the map somewhere, if they never have to back, then they're always doing something, right? They're always hunting or scouting or doing something. So Varian banned out, denying the lockdown potentially. Varian's a really popular pickup in Korea into Zeratul because of the value of taunt the moment he gets revealed. And maybe Black gonna pick up Hammer. And ETC. I can understand Hammer. The ETC pickup is just to enable the Ming. If they hadn't picked up the Ming, they wouldn't have had to pick up the ETC. This draft feels really clunky from NB Black. I don't see how they win this game. Honestly. I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about their previous drafts and the way the games have been going. I don't see how they win this game. Noblesse plays 3 heroes, Murden, Tyrael, EDC. How bad is that? Let's actually go check on Master League. Let's see how many games Noblesse has played. We'll just type in Noblesse. Currently on L5. So according to his overview, he has played 83 games on Muradin, 47 games on ETC, 23 games on Tyrael, 22 games on Johanna, and 7 or less games on every other tank in competitive. 1 game on a Nubrak. He has 1 competitive game on a Nubrak according to the stats available to Master League. I think that kind of answers the question. I missed the last half of that draft checking this out. We're just gonna back that up a second. But that's actually crazy that he has such a low priority on other tanks. I think it's a mistake. I never like this, by the way. I hate... Every time I see this happen, I don't like it. Whenever you have a necessary roll saved for last pick, you put yourself in a situation where you have no ability to respond to the draft. Like, did they have to pick up Hammer here? I feel like Hammer was... Like, if they pick up tank support here, their draft is, like, solid all the way down. And they're not going to pick up, like, Ariel here and then pick up their battery here. If they pick up Ariel battery, I would have been okay with the tank last pick, maybe. Vala Ariel is just a really reasonable comp. Tyrael's kind of a support. VP also gives you an anti-burst tool, because if someone's getting close, you can just VP the team, and like, oh, you can't burst out my team anymore because they're VP. So they have 3 denial tools, essentially, to save the Vala. So even though this isn't double support for the Vala, there's no shielder involved, it's going to go extremely well. I don't see a scenario where MV Black wins this game. I think they actually messed up their draft significantly. It wouldn't surprise me if the game actually ended up being significantly one-sided. That's really bad, too, because you don't want to give... You're up 2-0 in a set. You want to close it out. You don't want to give the enemy team momentum. So we're going to see Hammer immediately go to the bot lane. Looks like she's sieged up and just chunking that tower for free. Yeah. Nicely done. Meriday with the rotation denial and then the wall right out. Using the power of that Accelerando. Going to be absolutely fine. Looks like this is going to be a little bit of a tri-lane bottom. EDC does not have wave clear until level 7, so he's going to have a really hard time holding down the mid if L5 consistently rotates, but... Tis going to do a really good job making sure he doesn't take too much damage. Nice juke on the Singularity Spike there. And we're actually going to see Nitrogen with rotation down. Has enough wave clear. And again, another advantage of Ragnaros is your wave clear. Such insane wave clear that he can actually clear the wave and rotate and clear mid. Clear the wave and rotate, which is going to give them almost double soaking potential. It helps him stack his quest faster. And it puts them in a situation where there's more kill pressure on the bottom lane because it's potentially a situation where they can rotate 4 people down there. So L5 with a really clever laning arrangement. He's going to be able to do that at least every other wave. But Enemy Black actually gets the pick onto Tyrael. EDC pick showing its value. Slide combo. Yeah, Noblesse has... I think over 1,000 games, more than that, on Murden, EDC, and Tyrael. I don't think he has, like, in general, not just in competitive. I don't think he has that many games on EDC. And Korean teams in particular put a high emphasis on not only individual practice on a hero, but practice as a team. So if they haven't been running a new bracket scrims and he doesn't feel comfortable in the hero, they're not going to draft it, even if it would be a really good pickup. So... but I'm a little bit disappointed that Noblesse has not been practicing a new bracket, considering he keeps getting, buffed and then nerfed, and he's such a hard counter to certain heroes. I said there was no chance that L5 wins this game, but if they keep giving up those easy setup kills for the Li-Ming combo, they're just going to be in so much trouble. Nice slide on Noblesse, nice juke. For part of the combo at least, but Kyocha gonna come in. At this point, Noblesse is just creating space. There's very small chance he actually gets out of here. He jukes the combo with Q. Ends up going down though, and he made it all the way to the wave though, so that now his death can actually clear a minion wave. And he did create a lot of space for his team in the interim of doing that. In the early game, the Nubarak and Murden are very similar because they both have such a good escape that they can play very aggressively, play for vision, do a lot of zoning with their slow. In Nubarak's case, it's a talent, Beta Barbs. In Murden's case, it's Thunderburn that gives them that zone, so both at level 4. You know, shield is not as good as second wind, but they both offer like lane sustain to some degree. But I have no doubt that an Ibarak could be played exceptionally well by Noblesse. I'm just surprised it's not happening. I understand the Tyrael pickup. They're really all in on the Vala. This is very much a comp of if SCSC lives, everyone on the enemy team dies. So all we have to do is draft every tool we need to keep SCSC alive. But they weren't guaranteed to get the Vala. It was a bad pickup for MB Black to take it away. So that was, you know, a concern. But Noblesse again, barely sledding out of there, not getting picked off. Sulfur Sunger's quest is completed. And again, we're going to see Nachijin back up, play relatively safe. MB Black with the aggressive invade here this is a terrible idea. It does force Molten Core out, but there's no way they get this under the circumstances, and they're just going to take a lot of free poke damage. If L5 had been in position to follow up that Molten Core and potentially like get the pick, that would have been really, really bad. They're not. First aid is used. Saki might end up going down here, actually. Does barely get away, and Vala actually dies in the background. Not only Vala, but Ariel as well. That was actually crazy. MB Black managed to push in and make that work with the resets. They were so focused on potentially getting the hammer kill, I think they forgot about their backline. Free drag hits. Noblesse still gets away, and they actually end up trading 3 kills on the back end of that fight. That turned sideways so fast. I almost want to. I'm going to rewatch that fight. So listen, I don't do this very often, just because you don't normally need to. But that fight was insane. So CSC goes down to the 3-man collapse. Looks like Kyocha burrowed into the bush. Noblesse comes in, gets the kill onto Lucio. Helps get the kill onto Lucio. Nice juke with Eldruins there. And we're going to see the kill onto Li Ming as a result of that. They don't manage to get the kill on a Noblesse. He slows them with Eldruins on his way out, and they get the kill. That was just so good. Oh my god. Hey, Drinking Ren. How's it going? L5 completely caught up in experience off the back of those 3 kills. They took away any advantage MB Black had managed to build up in many ways. And they're just right back to soaking. L5 is just reset after that. And they're going to hit 10 soon. They're going to have these high-impact heroics. That was such a good fight. Again with the burrow in for the invade. L5 going to pick up this camp basically for free. They're moving better on the map now. They're moving better on the map this game than they did last game. And last game, they almost won with their map movements, so should be relatively close. The pressure is real. 10 is picked up. They feel confident they can push in here and get as much value as they can on the side. Zhonghan with the flank, and we're actually going to see Judgment. The deletion. So it is going to be the Judgment. I didn't expect this from Korea. Oh, beautiful mosh. Instant cancel, however, with the Sulfur Smash. Didn't expect this from Korea, but it is going to be the Judgment Smash combo that's going to be exceptionally strong against Hammer. I don't think they drafted Tyrael with the Judgment combo in mind, but as soon as that Hammer was picked up, I think they saw it. And I'm actually a little disappointed that we don't see Resistant out of Hammer, because whenever you're up against a Tyrael, that Judgment is a possibility, and now I'm disappointed that Hammer did not consider Resistant at level 1. It's one of those weird situations that it actually could be worth it to save your talent all the way until 10. But that is a Judgment. Looks like the buffs to Judgment are enough. And we even saw the perfect use of Reciprocate there. If you're using Judgment at home, make sure you take Reciprocate at level 7 and you W right before you Judgment. It will expire like pretty much right as you hit, and you'll get that instant burst damage on the focus target. Tyrael does a surprising amount of damage with his kit, and if you time it all out correctly, it is a lot of burst. I mean, you're really only missing out on focus attack. Just saying. I wouldn't have been disappointed. I also wouldn't have been disappointed if you just taken resistant. Have I seen Horseman's new Tyrael build? I have not. For the record, this combo is literally in my Tyrael guide. Hammer Rag with Sulfur Smash and Judgment Tyrael. It's literally in my Tyrael guide. I predicted this would happen. I didn't think it would happen in Korea, but I did predict this would happen in competitive. So it's rewarding to be able to see it even at the very, very highest levels. So L5, currently losing in shots, but managed to catch up in kills. Their cooldowns are a lot shorter in terms of pick potential. Judgment is a very short cooldown. Smash, of course, was nerfed a little bit, but Mosh is Mosh and VP, or excuse me, Mosh is the big playmaking heroic for him Black here, and as long as that's on cooldown, or as long as that's not available, then L5 has big windows to potentially make pick plays happen. Meanwhile, we are going to see Envy Black rotating around looking for those kills again, but L5's cleaned up their map movement significantly. We're seeing a lot of Eldruin's bush checks. Noblesse is not going to let that continue to happen to his team. Pretty sure I've seen Judgment Hunt. Yeah, Judgment Hunt used to be a thing, especially back when Judgment did more damage. Horsepants takes a bunch of the shield talents, even over things like Holy Ground. I'm not sure the exact combo. Well, that's not very helpful. Tyrael's shield talents were pretty bad because his shields weren't very good, but his shields got buffed. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if people are having success with shield talents. Another huge fight over boss. That is going to be the 0.1 for L5. They actually secure 2 kills off of it as well. I actually wish Judgment were going on to Lucio instead of Hammer. They have relatively similar health pools, but there's no way Sound Barrier gets off if you Judgment Lucio at the start of a fight, and you have you can just kill him. And a fight where there's no support available tends to be a one fight. The priority of going for Hammer, they're going for the sustained damage dealer over either the support or the burst. I don't know if I like the decision, but it's working out for them. So who might argue with L5? I don't know about the math on that. We can actually check. We're going to ignore the game for a second. Just casually ignoring the amazing game. Envy Black at this point is just trying to come back on the map by using Dahaka to soak as many lanes as possible. Don't know if it's going to be enough. L5, I think, Pez is pretty locked up. They just need to sit on their lead at this point. In terms of experience, obviously. Also, now in terms of shots, they're finally ahead in shots. Okay, Righteousness. So the base shield for Righteousness is 736 at level 20. Salvation, the max for 4 heroes, so you shield a standard team, no Vikings or Rexar shenanigans, is 1325 at level 20. So with shield for 1300... probably less. You're probably not going to consistently get all 4 allies. Call it a shield for 1,000. So you get a shield for 1,000, and it procs Angelic Absorption, which is a little bit better of a talent now than it was. It seems like a reasonable build. L5 with the advantage here. going into the triple altar phase. They want to make sure that they maintain this altar as long as possible so that the bottom altar is guaranteed to be then. Noblesse with the Holy Ground zoning. Again, they're just trying to maintain this. Now that the wave is here, it's going to be a little bit easier. Reset's trying to get those full length orbs onto it. And Zhongha is trying to make sure that pressure comes in from the side. Reset has a wall to work with, which means it's very, very hard to deal with it. But Natsujin is a Ragnaros, and Ragnaros is going to be able to hold that fort for forever. Kyocha with the global, but already Noblesse starting the rotation. Looks like they're going to go for their own. They're giving up the one Kyocha's channeling here. And Noblesse is easily going to be able to get this channel on this side. That's 2 altars going over to L5 with a tower advantage. 10 shots, and they are... Oh, no, not quite going to get it. No. I thought they'd be able to get the kill and reset thing at the altar, but not quite. And Tist, ooh, with the mosh pit, get instantly erupted by SCSC. Actually vaults in for that. VP in the backline. Smash comes out onto Saki, but he does end up living. This is now just a straight 5v5 with almost every heroic burned. Aegis is still available. Zhongha is extremely low on health. Natsujin ends up going down. No! No, the resets! The resets, and is gonna. I don't see Noblesse getting out of this situation. He is 110% dead. That is gonna be a 4 for none. And L5 only secured 1 altar in the triple altar phase when they started with a huge advantage. That sucks. Oh man, I thought L5 would actually be able to significantly do a significant amount of work there and close out the game. Bottom is captured, which means this will be 4 shots from MB Black, bringing L5's core to 17 out of 40. They're even going to go for mid too. Are they this greedy? They are totally this greedy. They have the hammer. They're willing to do it. Zhongha trying to get some free damage on the Tis, but Tis is standing there in front of Saki, making sure that he cannot take the damage himself. Reset needs to back for mana here momentarily. They will end up getting the camp. They get 5 shots, not 4, so that will be 16 out of 40. Reset finally with the back. Does Shiro get the XP from killing the minions with a straight? Yes. Matter of fact, if you ever last hit with a summon or any sort of thing on a minion, it doesn't matter if you're there or not, you get the experience. So Asmodan, with his really, really long-range globes, you get the experience. That's actually one of the reasons that Zool had such a high win rate at release. His level 13 talent, Corpse Explosion, had a bigger area and did significantly more damage. And it would result in a chain reaction in some cases where you would push a wave, especially when you had the 16 talent for 6 skeletons, and it would kill the minion wave as the skeletons walked into it, and then that minion wave would spawn more skeletons because you got the experience and because you last hit. So you would have this just like chain that continually pushed for free, and you were getting free soak off of it. And that is one of the reasons that Zool had a nearly like 60% win rate in Hero League. And that build specifically had like almost 70% win rate. His win rate was only low because people took bad talents on him. It should have been even higher than it was. Never underestimate the value of Wave Clear. Level 20 upgrade, Angel of Justice, that increased range, Noblesse already making extremely good use of it. And honestly, this is why you take Judgment at this point in the game. Angel of Justice is an incredibly strong talent with a reduced cooldown. I haven't changed. I need to change this in my guide, actually. I haven't. But if you go Judgment, with the removal of Hardened Shield, if you go Judgment at level 10, you should go the upgrade at level 20 100% of the time. Insane range, super short cooldown, just so much value you can get out of the situation. Again, we're going to see it here again in a moment. Oh, no. They back up, and there it is. The smash. Lucio gets deleted. That's what I've been looking for all game long. And Tist forced to burn Bolt to get over the Holy Ground. Nice attainment strike onto Kyocha. Zhongha in the back taking a lot of damage, but does have VP available for the self-save. And we are going to see Reign of Vengeance. The deletion on Li Ming. Very nicely done. Noblesse completely out of mana, but SCSC and Zhongha both with the chase. Nice slow coming out of Frost Shot there. That is going to allow SCSC to finish off his own kill. And 18-9 right now. We are going to see Yeah, after those kills, we're going to see the wave clear start to happen. The push in, they're hoping that they can get bottom and mid, it looks like, taken care of. And with Nitrogen already pushing the bottom and having the camp pushing in, that will happen. Looks like they're going to be able to get mid as well. 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Oh, the Judgment. And again, look at that beautiful timing on his W. So he W's before he judgments, and he gets the burst, isolates with a holy ground, secures the kill, and that's going to be at least 6 shots off of this one. 18 remaining. They could actually go top and start to work on that top 4, but looks like some of them do have to back for mana and health. Are you chilling on your vibrating bed? Again, for those of you who weren't here for the entire stream, I do have construction going on, so if you hear any noises, I'm not getting like robbed or anything. That is the concrete guys tearing up all the concrete in my front and backyard. So Purge Evil, increased movement speed, purple shields, that's the reduced cooldown. Judgment, then shield 1316, the Judgment upgrade. Yeah. I would not be surprised if someone was doing reasonably well with that build. I still think you can't give up Reciprocate. Reciprocate is too good with Judgment in particular. So... I'm going to see again. This is such a classic Korean strategy, by the way. You always want to, if you can, the Koreans are the team that started doing this, guard the bottom once you have it, because the enemy team has to reclaim it, and it gives you direct control of 2 of the potential 4 altar spawns. They have that narrow alleyway they can come through, but it gives them no safe path of retreat. It forces them to come through a choke in order to actually engage onto you. So incredibly dangerous. Judgment and Smash are both available. If anyone overextends in the bottom lane, they will be able to pick up the kill here, especially since Ragnaros has Molten Core. L5 is in a position where they can always defend this bottom temple very safely. You can see it's going to give them free control of this next temple phase. There's no way MB Black gets this. They don't want to engage in that choke. Even if they wanted to, Holy Ground is going to completely zone them away. There's absolutely nothing MB Black can do in this situation except for come all the way from mid down. But again, that's a Holy Ground. Choke, very easy to deal with. And they still have this huge risk. They're going to keep pushing in top. They don't want to commit to this. They're just trying to delay it a little bit. Seeing if they can catch them out of position. They can't. And that's going to be a free channel going over to L5. And now 7-9. L5 again ahead in shots. They have to defend bottom. They don't want to let those 3 shots go in, but this allows L5 to move up, pick up boss, and it puts them in a position where any altar is now an automatic win, and any camp they push in is an automatic win, which means L5, next time they win anything, can end the game. If they win a team fight, if they get a pick, if they manage to push in the camp. Meanwhile, MB Black still realized they were going for boss, has not denied the shots bottom, but then did not go and reclaim bottom. So again, 50% of the altars that can spawn, L5 has an advantage in terms of control. MB Black needs to back off and control that bottom tower. They have a very short time window where they'll be able to safely take it back. They did take bot. L5 is going to want to rotate up and grab that because Dahaka, with his global pressure, can take the camp again, and that threatens 3 shots potentially, which would put them in a 3-6 situation, which is not as good as a 3-9 situation. Camp control is very important at this point for MB Black. They haven't been winning the team fights, so they want to, take a very favorable team fight, preferably in a choke so they can land a really good mosh. So going for camps is actually pretty safe for them, even though it looks really risky. If L5 decides to invade, MB Black has the best possible chance of getting an absurdly large mosh pit. And if L5 doesn't invade, then of course the camp goes over to MB Black. They get the experience, they get the pressure, they get the automatic camp, death on buildings, giving them potential advantage in lane. And the altar spawns, this is game for L5 if they cap it. MB Black really needs to make sure they commit to this as aggressively as possible. Kyo's is just casually in the back line, trying to get on top of Zhonghai. Zhonghai does finally get dismounted, but has Blink available, leaves. Risa takes some free damage from Noblesse. Look at how much chunked he got. That's with Force Armor. With Force Armor, 25% of Bleeding's health just gone. Force Armor, not the pickup. Noblesse could have gotten him to half. It's so scary in this late game to have this hyper-mobile tank, quote-unquote, that can do so much damage to these squishy backline heroes, and you just cannot get away from him. Judgment is available. Sound Barrier was burned. Nice drag, but Aegis with the save for the moment. Swoi is going to be able to get the heal for them. And VP the backline, so splitting the fight. This allows Nitrogen to get disengaged. Nicely done by Zhonghai, saving his team. But that means Judgment, Smash, and one charge of Rain of Vengeance are all they have remaining against the full heroic power. Actually, that's not true. I lied. Sound Barrier and Dahaga's ult were both used. Ragnaros with the takeover. He can delay this for free for at least 18 seconds. So incredibly annoying to deal with. And Swoi's actually going to channel. And the Judgment, but Smash is not going to be there in range. Doesn't even matter though. SCSC's damage is enough. Saki ends up going down. And that should be game. I don't see MB Black recovering in this situation. Almost with the mosh, but Smash for the interrupt. Tisk lived through that amazingly enough, but he does end up going down in the end. Attainment Strike. Yeah, SCSC with the B-Step. With the B-Step, and Reset is going to live. Diamond Skin is not going to be enough. Dies anyway. We have a series on our hands. I honestly feel like Judgment won them that game. 100% Judgment won them that game. I'm almost questioning... myself if I should say that if Tyrell's a solo tank, he should go Judgment. Because it gives him such a good initiation. Something to think about. I think Tyrell's guide definitely requires some revisiting, just based on changes in the meta. So moving on to the next map, it will be really that is Warhead, isn't it? It's just... No, that's Warhead. There's nukes and everything. There's... Warhead Junction. MV Black with the first pick. Can L5 execute the reverse sweep? I feel like this is the perfect map for L5, honestly. L5 has a really good handle on Warhead Junction. Ever since they lost against Fnatic on this map at BlizzCon, they have a really good understanding of how important globals are, how important boss control is. MB Black with the Muradin ban. Muradin has been banned by the wrong team so far most of these games. MB Black, Muradin ban makes total sense. But I feel like after that last game, the way that Noblesse was playing Tyrael and how good Tyrael is at boss control, maybe not the pickup. L5 with the Zeratul ban. Zeratul just seems to be such a playmaking hero for both teams. Neither team wants the other one to have it. Highly knowledgeable and professional caster said that Tist has now shown himself to be better for Black than Sign ever was. Thoughts? I mean, Tist has always been a really good player. I don't know if I'd say he's better than Sign ever was. That's a pretty tall order. Sign was considered the best tank player in the world by everyone for an 8-month period. Like... I don't know about that. I think Sign is still a better player than Tist at tanking. I don't think Sanct will ever be bad, but it's good for Tyrael to have an actual choice for ults. They should both be viable. Yeah, Sanct is always going to be good, but I genuinely do think that Judgment may end up being the default pick in a lot of scenarios now. Something worth considering. Illidan Tyrael picked up. Because they know that Noblesse is going to be playing that Tyrael, Tyrael apparently does not draft the Nubrak. And we're going to pick up Varian. Varian will get to the late game consistently. Falstad first pick guarantees them that as well. The Zeratul ban also makes the Falstad just an easy pickup. And Ling has been working for both teams. And again, that's so much of that is the fact that Korea just does not seem to value a Nubrak. Malfurion banned out. Again. Actually, I think that is not about mana sustain. This time, that Malfurion ban is about silence. Silence is one of the best ways of dealing with Illidan. He doesn't have any of his survivability tools, his mobility in particular, when he's silenced. Illidan is a duck, a sitting duck when he is silenced. That's why all the silenced Illidan players in Hero League just feed so hard. Or at least they did before you could not play while silenced. And then in draft QM, you see someone silenced, you see them playing Illidan, they have 11 deaths. It's because they were silenced, guys. It's really Blizzard's fault for silencing them. They would be fine if they would have carried that game if they could have just told you what to be doing. Tassadar banned out. I don't know if Tassadar is necessary at this point for Illidan to really be a high impact hero in this scenario. It would have kept him alive, though, potentially from the Hunt Judgment combos. So that would have given them an extra buffer if we're not going to see Sanct this game. We could see Sanct, though. This is definitely a situation where you have an Illidan, Sanctification is always going to be a really good pickup. But then Judgment Hunt, it's a classic combo. It gives you some pseudo global mobility. Rhaegar Lunara. So going for duelists and heroes that can solo camps. Looks like L5's putting a heavy emphasis on heroes that are just strong, independent, can do things on their own, can always get away from fights, can always get into fights. And Enemy Black going for the double global with an Uther. Not a sustain healer. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I don't think I would pick up Uther in this situation unless they really wanted the point and click stun. And it looks like the point and click stun is going to work out for them. The Tracer pickup. Again, another really, really good duelist hero. Can kill both Falstad and Li Ming pretty effectively. Double global, though. Are you guys looking at these drafts? Because I'm looking at these drafts, and you know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing that I fast forwarded too far. Double global, Falstad and the Haka, but no boss controls. Versus two duelists, two heroes who can do camps, a slow rotator, but the best boss control in the game. I guess they have a Force and Gust, but neither one of those work against Sanct. Holy Ground, that's the thing. Like, L5 can guarantee that they win boss points no matter what. Assuming they execute it correctly, but this is Noblesse on Tyrael. He's going to execute it correctly. SCSC taking a lot of free damage there. And Reset ends up going down. The baits are real. And this is what L5 has to be doing all game long. They have to be getting picks. They have to not miss soak, but they have to be pressuring in and getting kills consistently and winning the race to 10 and then controlling the bosses from 16 onward. They're going to have a weak point in the 10 to 16 range where Enemy Black can reasonably win straight up fights. But L5 doesn't want to take straight up fights. They just want to be everywhere on the map, getting camps, doing pressure, getting kills. If they can successfully do that, and they're already 2 kills to 0, then L5 should be so far ahead that the double global won't have enough time to work. We'll see if it ends up working out that way. Nice drag on an Oxygen. That was a max range, free drag, no setup whatsoever. But hit it on the hop. Hippity hop. Abusing Lunara's animations there. Reset. Not enough armor. Reset ends up going down. And again, this is the power of Tracer. She is just so good at securing these picks, even with the Force armor, even through the armor from Uther's healing. Just not enough. Uther did end up going the Lightbringer at 1 for that additional mana sustain. So they really huge emphasis here on not having to back. They really want Uther to be on the map consistently. And again, I don't think he's the right pickup in this scenario. L5 does have Wisp. It's a little bit underestimated. I should have considered that. Wisp is going to give them a lot of vision mechanics around the contention points. And it's going to make it so Nachogen can play extremely safely. It's going to be really hard to gank him. And he will have that pressure. I'm almost wondering if we're going to see culling this game. Although against an Uther, Splintered Spear has so much value in full 5v5 team fights. So you got to ask yourself the question, how many full 5v5 team fights are you going to have against a double global comp? Both teams grabbing camps, trying to maintain this lane pressure, but more camping available from L5, so they grab the Bruisers and the Siege, whereas only the Siege are grabbed for MVP Black. And we're going to see Noblesse clearing the wave, backing out Tist, trying to get the quest talent level 1 Lion's Fang stacked up a little bit. Did not go for Overpower, so we will not have that burst potential against Illidan or anyone else. And we're going to see another kill on the reset here. SCSC with the Tracer play, just being like, you know who doesn't exist in this game? Li Ming. You know why? Because she blewed up. We need to get Kyle and Cav casting something together. That'd be interesting. I was actually a little bit surprised that the tournament coming up that Sologic's hosting, Bloodlust, they have voting for teams for who gets to participate in the tournament. It's just because it's sort of a pro-am event. I was surprised they didn't have caster voting. That'd be such a good, easy way to raise money, because there's so many casters in the community that have like a reasonable following that if people thought they could get their caster into a major event and they really wanted to like push their caster, whether it was KO or Halorn or Envirum, I think people would have been super excited to be like, I want my caster to be a Bloodlust. Can I, do voting for caster? Because you can buy votes with money by buying stuff in the Bloodlust shop. I was really surprised they didn't do that. And again, the camp pressure. L5 is going to literally get these camps on cooldown. Anytime that MB Black has not gotten their siege camp and it's available, L5 is just going to be like, that's our camp now. The pressure is going to be real. This is so clever. Okay, we're gonna pause it. We're gonna pause it here. I want you guys to look right here. So Falstad aggroed the siege camp such that it would not get to the wall, and the wall wouldn't kill it. Because these things don't kill walls very well. They kill minions really well. So he pulled it away, and then as soon as he knew the minion wave would intersect it before it got to the wall, he left. That means that this wave of experience right here cannot be picked up by L5. Because this camp is so good at killing minions that the wave's just going to die. Meaning that even though they got the camp, they're missing an entire minion wave of experience. And he can keep doing this. He can actually come back up, tank it for a little bit, and just stutter step so he's not attacking it, and keep denying the experience. Anytime someone goes into your backline and steals one of your camps, you can actually do this. You can aggro the camp and stagger out the waves so that the minion camp the mercenary camp keeps killing the minion wave, and you never get the experience. I've actually had games where I denied like 2 to 3 solid minutes of experience from a team because they stole a camp, and I just was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. You can steal that camp. And it's such a good on-the-fly decision from Falstad. It's exactly the right thing to do. L5, off of their 5 picks, will be picking up 10 first. Despite the wave manipulation shenanigans coming out from Saki and MB Black. And nukes are going to do a lot of front wall damage. They do have the camp here as well. This is going to get cleared out. They're just using the nukes as aggressively as possible. They don't want to potentially risk losing any of them. That is going to be the fort going down. Illidan is one of the best siege heroes in the game because of evasion. He can just always get on top of the building. He can always sustain off of it. So when you have an Illidan, you're always free to siege aggressively. Reset's getting absolutely destroyed here by Lunara, even though, Force Armors does absolutely nothing to Lunara Poison. And we're going to see the boss picked up here by L5. Again, just continuing with this pressure. SCSC with the zoning, the only person who can come into this situation is the Falstad. And then if SCSC is right there, then the Hunt Pulse Bomb combo comes into play. Both teams going to go for the point, but this is going to be Sanctification on the boss point, and Varian level 10 now. This is closer to being a real comp. Ancestral comes out, and Divine Shield barely saving the Ming allows her to bolt in aggressively, gets the double reset. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Divine Shield. However, reset is now out of mana, and L5 in the end picks up the boss, but they give up a significant number of kills for it. Not at all what they were looking for. Noblesse with the Eldruins Jukes. I actually think he would have gotten away if he hadn't come back in, but maybe he can get the kill off of the reset. Shield Wall is timed perfectly. Sist does go down, as does Reset. He gets both of the kills here. That Poison should know. Uther's back. He's alive. He's going to heal, and that is going to be another kill onto Lunara. L5, Enemy Black almost managed to completely even out the game there. At least in terms of experience, almost in terms of kills. That was a bloody, ugly mess. L5 is being a little bit too aggressive with the boss. They needed to wait till 16. They had that spike. But they do have Hunt. They do have Sank. They have that stun. So Hunt is going to be the setup for Pulse Bomb consistently. That's what they're looking for. Guardian of Ancient Kings is going to negate some of that, hopefully. 75 armor is a basically hardened shield. So Uther can save them, save whoever it is, if he's there. But he has to be there, and he can't save himself, which is going to be a really critical point. Hunt Pulse Bomb may end up getting traded for a self-Divine Shield, and that's never the situation you want to be in. Meanwhile, those cooldowns are both so short that L5 will be able to use them for picks consistently all game long. It's going to be very difficult for MB Black to not die versus this comp from L5. And even with the double global, if you're dying, every 30, 40 seconds, these picks are happening consistently, you're not going to be able to get your lane so far pushed in, get the structure damage such that the double global can actually end up being the macro comp that it needs to be. It's obviously a very, very high execution problem to have. But L5 is just doing so well right now at getting these kills. Enemy Black, when they're brawling over a boss, that won't work again though. L5, as soon as they hit 16, the bosses are all going to be there. So Enemy Black has a narrow window here to really try and keep this momentum going. Oof. Noblesse is having a rough day with his Eldruins. I feel like that's the third or fourth Eldruins just this between the two series, last game and this game, where he's died as a result of not queuing in the right place or at the right time, which is unusual. Normally, Eldruins from Noblesse are some of the best in the world. Noblesse is literally the player I studied when I was writing my tutorial guide. He has such good Eldruin's placement normally, so many good jukes, keeping himself alive, just not today. It is worth noting that because Tyrael is heavily played in Korea, they do have a lot more experience playing with him, so they are limiting his options slightly. It might just be that MB Black is not giving him opportunities as opposed to Noblesse is making mistakes. Mortal Strike picked up. That is going to negate the value of Ancestral as well as the sustained healing from Illidan's Shape, but we're not going to have the overpower cooldown resets. So it's going to be just the focus target that really has to deal with that, not just a general high uptime scenario. And again, we're seeing Zhongha do Illidan things. Illidan is one of the best siege heroes in the entire game because of evasion, because he can just stand underneath turrets and get that value. The split pushing value here is real as boss is picked up. And L5, they knew it was happening. They just didn't feel like they had anything to do about it until 16. MB Black wanted to take that boss off the table before 16 was hit. So they're trying to make sure that L5 does not have those easy win conditions with the Holy Ground. And their global's back up. They start to do it. We are going to see SCSC take a lot of free damage here, but he's going to be absolutely fine. No pressure from MB Black with the boss. They needed to back up and make sure their own keeps did not get taken. Perfect timing on that nuke. Also kills the minion wave as well as getting the wall and the well. And they're just trying to get hit 16 first. MB Black now in a situation where they could potentially try and force a fight. They are going to go on to Noblesse here, but Sank is popped and Noblesse will get away. Middle fort is basically forfeit. L5 can poke this with the Lunara. They can't really do anything else except the Lunara poke. Meanwhile, Falstad is going to continue to push out bot lane, get that experience. L5 needs to make something happen post 16 here in order not to lose the race to 20. Currently, with a double global, MB Black easily wins the race to 20. But again, my concern is MB Black the kind of team that can manage this double global composition since they aren't really a macro-focused team as a general rule. I feel like if these compositions were switched, L5 would definitely win the game, and MB Black would make it very difficult for them. But with this situation, I don't know if MBB Black can restrain their impulses to fight at the wrong times, because they do win a lot of the fights, even if they're badly timed, just because they're so much better than most of the teams they go up against. But this is L5. This is going to be a crazy last few minutes of this game. Nice in-art by Reset there. Disintegrate no longer available though, so he doesn't have the full combo to potentially secure or reset if necessary. He will ever get the nukes, so it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade on the nukes. Top fort is going to go down. Again, the sieging power from Illidan. And bottom boss instantly started MB Black again, but that's an Elemental Ruins. They need to back off. They realize this cannot happen. Tyrael is there. He will have sync available momentarily. Has Holy Ground. And they immediately disengage. They were hoping to get the boss without Tyrael being there in time, but they just don't have that possibility. And meanwhile, camps. Double Bruiser camp will be pushing top here. The pressure in the bottom here now from MB Black, they're trying to secure potentially this bottom keep. They will have one nuke out for the wall. This used to be a game sound stream. Yeah, for those of you who just tuned in, I am casting from the Korean VOD. So if we had game sound on, we would also have commentary from the Koreans on, which would kind of interfere with the purpose. Armor coming out for Saki from Uther does save him. There's going to be top keep going down no matter what. The double bruiser camp is just too powerful. And bottom keep was barely saved, even though SCSC did end up going down. So unfortunate there for MB Black. They lost a keep, did not get the keep. Swoi not going to get out of that situation. He doesn't have that movement speed at level 1, so there's just no possibility. He goes in, tries to secure the kill on Saki while he can, but it's not going to be enough. So he ends up going down on the retreat. There was just would not be able to run away in that scenario. And MB Black currently winning the race to level 20. Tyrael is alive and well, which means any sort of boss attempt would be fairly risky. And again, the mercenary camps are going to be picked up here. Zhanghan just camp after camp after camp after camp. No possibility of letting MB Black have a camp. That is 4 camps on the map, 4 camps capped in red. And we are going to see the pressure here. Chinese Bush meta, but Wisp. And that's going to be an instant indication. And see the Noblesse in the back here. He's just like, hey guys, that's holy ground. He did take a Roger Reforging at 4, which means he does have the ability to just constantly throw out that sword over and over and over again as long as he keeps hitting. Nice taunt, however. Nice rotation there from Tist. That will be the kill. And that's going to be boss going MB Black. L5 is not in a position to take that. However, that's Illidan pushing in top. Catapults are available. That's going to be Illidan on core. Illidan on core? He has a nuke. Is Kyochi gonna be able to... Guys? Okay, Zhangha's out. He's not gonna go for core. I wouldn't have been surprised if Zhangha had actually made a core attempt there with the nuke. with Illidan Encore, but everyone from MB Black did back. They have Gust, so they would have had a lot of denial potential. Boss has to be taken care of. This is something L5 has to deal with. It was so unfortunate that Noblesse ended up dying there because it lost them the boss control. We're going to see Zhonghe again continue to push in this scenario. And 1v1ing Dahaka. Looks like no one's going to come back and help. This is guaranteed bottom keep at least. Bottom all structures, really, not just the keep, but the tower as well. 2 nukes are available, so they could potentially end Encore here, but he has a nuke. Can't use it until Dahaka has Burn Drag. Sanctification comes down, and we are going to see Nitrogen with the leap doing a lot of damage. Shields are going to be completely gone, but it's not going to be enough. Noblesse trying to split the fight. Gust away. And Kyocha's now here. Looks like Illidan did back as well, so 1% damage done to core, but catapults on core going to do some shield damage here as well. They will get taken down. That needs to be pushed out, and now MB Black needs to send one of their globals back to deal with that. And again, Zhonghe going for core. Illidan is one of the scariest heroes with core. If L5 actually denies the backs, there's no way that MV Black can defend this. L5 has to just force a full-on 5v5. Illidan has a nuke. He can solo core. He can solo core if they don't let them back. They're not backing. Oh my god. Oh my god, Saki manages to back. Core is being nuked. Zhonghe on core, 46%. 40, 30. Gust away, that is a critical gust, but he has a minion wave to dive to, so he gets immediately back onto the core. Dive over the core again, sweeping strikes, and that will be... Oh my god. Oh my god, is L5 going to pull off the reverse sweep, guys? Is it going to happen? Man, this is one of those things. This is one of those things. L5 is not a... MB Black is not a macro team. Like, I love MB Black. I love MVB Black. They're one of my favorite teams, but they're not a macro team. So the moment they drafted a macro comp like that, I was super, super concerned for them. I was like, they're not gonna execute this correctly. They're gonna be in a situation where they have a macro team. They have a macro comp. They're not a macro team, and L5 is gonna play around their errors because L5 knows every mistake you can make when it comes to being a macro comp. And they did. They won. They beat a macro comp with a backdoor. Like, how does that happen? But now they're going to take them to Braxis, where backdooring is not an option. Definitely going to be a pretty big advantage here. And let's see. It's good enough. We can wait for that to come. That was such a cool game. Such a cool game. Oh, on a totally unrelated note, I have not been on Reddit because I was specifically avoiding spoiling myself. But I did not post the HGC pre-show thread for this week. Let me do that real quick. Because I realized I didn't post it yesterday. I actually went wine tasting with a friend yesterday, and we left here at 10:30 and got back at like 6. So we were wine tasting pretty much all day. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. Get ready for some strange picks in Game 5. You thought MVP was a good macro team? MVP Black is like, their macro's okay. It's technically world class, but they're not known for it. It's not like they're one of the best macro teams they're one of the best macro teams in the world just because they're, so much better than everyone else. Not because they're specifically good at it, if that makes sense. But their team fighting is so incredibly insane. And you gotta draft to your strengths in Heroes of the Storm. There's a lot of different things that work in Heroes of the Storm. You gotta draft to your strengths. I'll actually link this in chat when I'm done as well. What is this? This is post number 4. That's not the right thing. This is the right thing. All right, moving into the last game, Braxis holdout. I'm gonna say, wow, Tyrael being considered the ban here. It looks like Noble S has drawn some respect bans. The typical strategy on Braxis with the 4-1 has started to sort of get kinked in professional play. I would not be at all surprised to start seeing 3-2s consistently from multiple teams. Now, sort of the anti-siege heroes have been identified that can delay the 4-man very, very well as 3. It is going to be the Tyrael ban. I don't know about that. Tyrael's a hero that can get a lot of early game value just because of his mobility and how aggressively he can be played. The way he can efficiently trade cooldowns, but he has a huge mana problem when it comes to sustaining and the constant duels. However, his ability to be a really good roamer, going over walls with Eldruins to really efficiently get his rotations going, is not something to be underestimated. And yeah, the 3-2s. Genji this game? Genji's not allowed. There is a 2-week universal ban on all new heroes in competitive play. The only exception is Trail League. Trail League is literally the only organization at any level of competitive play that does not ban all heroes for 2 weeks. False banned out, Vala immediately picked up. This almost forces the Zarya pickup from L5. If Zarya is not picked up here, I'll be relatively surprised. What would you want to pair with the Zarya? Gul'dan's likely to get banned out. Malfurion, I'm okay with that. Malfurion and Gul'dan. That leaves Ariel available for Vala. And Zarya available for Vala. Are you really confident that you can beat that trifecta in its current state? That seems like such a huge risk to take. Gul'dan is one of the best heroes to poke with. Okay, they're actually going to secure their soul laner. and secure the Muradin, denying its noblesse. If they didn't pick up the Muradin there, it would have gone over to L5, I believe. So I like that decision from MB Black. They also secure the global into Haka with False Deadband out. That's the most reliable global in the game. Zagara is still available. We have started to see Zagara play more. Zagara is the kind of hero that L5 might pick up. I don't think MB Black would be likely to play it. So is Zarya's popularity in Korea dropped off after all her nerfs? It certainly seems so. Ariel banned out by L5. That's the expected ban. It's one of the things I really like to see. I mean, if you're second picked in a draft, you want to pick up your support or your tank and sort of do some role isolation with your secondary ban. If the other team does not pick up that role in their 2-3 slots, they kind of have to, and that gives you more options on the back end of your draft because it also reveals more of the structure of the enemy team's draft. But MV Black says we don't care. We're happy with any support we can get. Ban on Tyrael, ban on ETC. This is targeted at Noblesse. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Noblesse basically only plays 3 tanks. And yeah, Stitches. I was gonna say they need whatever tank they pick up needs some sort of engage. He needs a lot of self-sustain, and there really weren't many options. Stitches was probably the best available option based on the fact that we just have not seen Noblesse play an Uberak. We just haven't seen it. You can also force people to fight in Hammer's range with Stitches because of the hook. And then the Chromie pickup. And Morales. Zeratul to counter. So what teams have better macro than Black? L5. I would also put Liquid up there. I think Liquid is probably the number 2 macro team in the world. Super Perfect Team, maybe up there. Fnatic, maybe up there. Tempest has better team fight than MBB Black, maybe. I think Tempest may be the only team that has better team fight than MBB Black. Well, no, Dignitas on a good day. Dignitas on a good day. But Dignitas's range is broad. There's really no other way to put that. It's just broad. My opinion, Fnatic is the best EU macro team. See, that's sort of funny because I think it was Quacknix the other day said Liquid would probably be the number 1 team if we were in a macro meta. So Fnatic doesn't think that. Do you think the top NA teams can be the bottom of EU? Oh yeah. If you put GFE against a like B Genius or something, GFE would wipe the floor with B Genius. Top NA teams are probably in like the 4, 5, 6 area when you're comparing them to a EU. For instance, Tempo Storm versus Expert would be a really interesting series. Oh, what time does the other team fight than L5? Tempest does. Fnatic and Dignitas definitely do on a good day. E-Star, maybe not. Let's see. So we are going to see a 3-2 split. We're going to see Hammer in the top lane being protected by the Zeratul, with Chromie matching wherever the Hammer is going to be, it looks like. Actually, Chromie rotating down the bot lane now. So now we're going to have a 2-1. Nope, Chromie coming back up. Coming back up. It looks like Chromie's trying to match the Hammer, but also trying to be aware of where the Zeratul is. So it is going to be a 3-2 split. And this forces the 3-2 split from MB Black. Gul'dan does not have enough damage to secure a kill off of a hook, even if Swoy hits the root follow-up perfectly. So L5 is going to slowly lose the bottom lane. The question is how slowly they can do it, and if they can ever get a hook on the medic. If they get a hook on the medic, that kill they might be able to get, because medic can't heal herself. It's just a safeguard, and then she's one and done. It's a question of if the peel from Tis will come out in time. And Noblesse can afford to be really aggressive when his E is available, push up. This allows Gul'dan not only to clear the wave, but to drain and get his health back, which helps some mana. And they get the pick on Navala. That's one of those things that just should not happen. But if you get the hook, it creates enough distance that the healing beam is forced to break. And then there's enough damage coming out of Gul'dan and the root that kick can be secured. Looks like Morales was just a little bit too far away. And the 2-man top, Hammer has all that siege potential. Anyone who comes out to deal with the Hammer is forced to walk into the Zeratul. Chromie has the range, but as long as Hammer's playing as far back as possible, he does have to come all the way up to the gate. And with the wave being pushed in because Dahaka can't step out and clear it, there is windows of time where even stepping outside of your gate is not necessarily safe. Any update on the sub button? No, I'm part of the Twitch affiliate program. You guys can give me bits, but I don't have a sub button yet. I haven't applied for it. If I stream for a month consistently doing shows like the way I've been doing the last couple weeks, then I will definitely reapply for a sub button if my viewership continues to increase the way it has been during those shows, for anyone who's curious. Split pressure. Both teams trying to open up a fort. Zeratul can soak this safely just because he can stay stealthed and let the XP trickle in as the fort does take that in the building. And as soon as they leave, he'll be able to clear it out with cleave. But the fort trading does accelerate both teams to level 10. Both teams have reasonable spikes at 10. L5's maybe a little tiny bit stronger with VP. Twilight Dream. And we're going to see the camp taken. So again, we're starting to see more of this. We're starting to see 3-2s. We're starting to see full rotations. We're starting to see invisible heroes picked up just so they can get the safe soak as the fort trades happen. The meta, in terms of strategies on Braxis, is being broken pretty wide open. It's not just the static 1v1, 4v4 situation as much anymore. It will still work and you can still get an advantage. But because those drafts are so predictable for anyone who's really experienced at drafting on Braxis in particular, it allows your draft to be more flexible in terms of what your priorities are and what you need to pick up to win, which means that you can outdraft your opponent. And Braxis is a really good map to be able to outdraft. So for a 3-2 split on Braxis, what do you think is the best 3-man? Chromie and someone else. I don't know what the other two are, but Chromie is definitely one of them. Nice pick on the Hammer there. A little bit overextended. Oh, the helping hand onto Swoy! Swoy's alive, ladies and gentlemen. Swoy's alive. That was really good. That was such a good helping hand. I'm glad the camera caught that. I thought for sure Swoy was going to be dead there. That was going to be a 2 for none. Both beacons currently controlled by Enemy Black. They are going to get a 100 to 42% Zerg wave. It's kind of a big deal. That particularly that's the lane where the forts have already been taken down in both cases. So they are going to have to defend Zhonghua with the pressure in here. Could potentially secure at least the keep wall. But if they're going to see the Haka rotate down. Okay, so the Enemy Black's objective is to get to minimum keep wall. If they get a pick, they can get the entire keep. So reset's going to be forward aggressively here. Clearing out the Banelings, absolutely critical. Tis with the rotation in the Stumbolt, or the Stormbolt, but not going to be enough. Nacho Jin does take a lot of damage. And the hook root combo, that's Vala. Yeah. That's just a mispositioning. That's just a positional error. Vala needs to be in a situation where she's always between Stitches and always has Murd in between her and Stitches, or at least a target between her and Stitches. That's the second time that positioning has been absolutely perfect, and Noblesse has abused it every single time. Pretty standard talents across the board. Nothing too unusual. We are going to see full AA Vala, which I'm a little bit surprised by. But that is going to be mostly for the value damage on the Stitches. They're really trying to erase a single target with this comp. And it's not like the multi-shot build is necessary to feed Ariel energy, which is one of the reasons we've been seeing it so consistently. But I don't know. I'm not sure if auto attack is the go-to talent, considering that Braxis by design almost is an early game map, and a quest talent doesn't finish until 15 or 16. It's pretty questionable. top Citrus players are actually starting to be consistent getting viability. It's actually true. Helping Hand took a long time for people to adjust to. It's just a matter of, having enough practice with Stitches in an organized setting, because people can juke the hook. People will, when trying to juke enemy team shots, end up juking the hook as well. Oh, Cleanse with the save. Cleanse traded for Loop. It's actually a pretty reasonable trade. Top lane pressure is going to be a real thing. Enemy Black with 10 picked up. And the Bruiser Camp pushing in. They have a lot of siege damage. They could potentially... SCSC has a hot rolling on him, so he's going to be fine despite getting hit by the Chromie shot. And camp's cleared. Enemy Black decides not to push their heroic advantage because they do still have Zeratul in the bot. Or Dahaka, in the bot lane. Could have had Kyoto come in, but they're just trying to win the long game at this point. They are ahead in structures by a little bit, relatively even in experience, behind in kills. And they just need to be really, really cautious of that hook. You can see those 2 kills, both of them resulting from hooks, has made them a little bit afraid to push into a sieged up area like that. And they are just going to back off, control the objective, and abuse the fact that they have that global potential. Noblesse taking a lot of free damage. Oh, the hook onto Medic, and that's going to be another kill. Noblesse keeps hitting these hooks. That's just going to be game. There's no way that NB Black wins this game if Medic or Vala keep getting hooked at the start of every fight. That actually matters. And that's going to be another kill onto Kyocha as well. There's no way he lives in this scenario. Noblesse already with rotation top. That's going to be a 4 for none. Both beacons going over to L5. And even going to steal the camp, get that map pressure. If Leo could soak while dead, that would be broken, for the record. I'm just putting that out there. For anyone who's thinking about that. I've thought about it before, and it would be broken. Nice pickup by Tis. Grabbing top beacon. We are going to see Noblesse with the rotation while the rest of his team grabs the camp. Noblesse can sit on this point basically forever because of his E. Because he has his team behind him. Oh, and the hook into the root. Hook hits. Not enough damage there for the follow-up. Unfortunately, he does live for the moment. Blunt Force Gun was the pickup at level 10. Was available. Wouldn't have been quite enough burst to actually finish off the Murden. But you really got to consider the potential here. Corruption Slow picked up at level 7. Curse of Exhaustion. This is something we do see occasionally. Certain players just sort of have an affection for it. It gives you a really consistent follow-up to any sort of hard CC. It makes it really hard to get away. And whenever you have a pick comp, making it really hard to get away is a really good idea. Also means that Blunt Force Gun is more likely to hit. So they're really all in on this hook in to blow someone up as quickly as possible combo. We now have 2 talents taken specifically for that scenario alone. Reset, just barely dodging the hook there. And that makes Noblesse a lot less threatening, but still on a fixed point there, difficult to engage into the hammer. And that will be a 100-0 Zerg wave for L5. They'll manage to at least get the fort here, even out this lane inequity in terms of structures. And 13 is picked up. We are going to see the giant killer for Project Hammer, I would assume. Yep, there it is. Hellstone, Mending Strikes, Slam area, and we're going to see Ice Block picked up from Malf, which means he can be a lot more aggressive with those potential Twilight Dreams. BP in the back line, that is going to be a Mary Day! Mary Day almost went down, ladies and gentlemen, but Medevac out just in time. That was so close. Blunt Force Gun does, however, get the kill onto Reset. And that's not at all what they wanted to have happen there. Hook is going to get the kill onto Kyocha as well. And that is going to be 3 kills to none as L5 pushes in with this massive Zerg wave. Most of it is dead. Looks like just one Ultralisk alive, the Guardians. A lot of damage. Time Walker's Pursuit Vision coming out. Zhangha taking a lot of damage on the reveal there. And L5 with these consistent picks and just slightly better rotations. That game, yeah, exactly. This game went out of control super fast. That should not have happened. Like, the game going out of control after a few picks, fine, whatever. But that was just, like, instantaneous. Osram, what do you mean it has a 6-second delay? Keep is picked up. That's going to be another kill on a merry day. Oh, the medevac? Maybe. Maybe. Can they burn it down in time? They can burn it down in time. That's going to be another kill on a merry day. VP in the back line. Just, again, the isolation. Saki should get out of here with Tist doing the peel and the zone. I see what you mean. Corruption takes... The thing about Curse of Exhaustion is that if they get hit twice by 2 different corruption charges, then Curse of Exhaustion applies twice because it applies to each canceled tick. Or each expired tick of corruption. So it's a pretty long duration slow, and it's a pretty big slow. And then you have, Putrid Bile, you have Tenderizer. It just keeps people in range of Hammer and of Gul'dan's Qs for longer. It's the best way to think about it. It also makes any sort of root likely to hit. If you have someone slowed, then you can just hit them with root. You don't need to worry about having root as a follow-up CC anymore. It just hits. So there's always marginal situations where that slow is going to make a big difference for certain heroes, and there's a lot of them in this comp. It basically forces enemy black, if they get hit by corruption, to back up before the slow applies to them, because they're not going to be able to get away if they wait. That means corruption just is like, you're not in this fight anymore. It's a pretty good deal considering that if you corruption a Vala and then she has to leave the fight's over because they need Vala to win. Time out. Murden actually ends up going down. That is unfortunate. And we're going to see the immediate kill onto Vala. I actually managed to trade for the hammer, but in the meanwhile, Merry Day goes down. They did have medevac available, didn't use it to pop. Looks like they just can't use it as an escape. That will actually be a full ace for L5. They can go top and grab the beacon. They could grab both that and Boss if they wanted to do so. It looks like that's what they're going to do. And with Boss pushing in, along with a 100-0 Zerg wave, I don't see a situation where L5 does not win this game. Yes, they removed Heliotropic. On PTR. Next week it will be removed on live. Mistimed that. They did want to cap, just because MB Black could be going for the invade. It's unlikely, but I think they mistimed that. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they timed that perfectly. Oh, they timed that perfectly. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. The Zerg Wave and the Boss are going to be pushing together. Never mind. L5 has these timings worked out better than I do. And that is going to be a massive 100 Zerg Wave and an Archangel bearing down on the only remaining keep. We do see Dahaka in the top lane trying desperately to get 16, but it's not going to happen. There's no way. They have to give up this keep, and then they have to fight on their core down a Talontier to have any chance at all of coming back, any chance at all of winning this game. They need to get a full wipe and clear without a Talontier. I don't see how that happens. I genuinely don't. Hook into timeout. The root follow-up obviously misses as a result. Saki's going to be fine, but while Saki's in his little cocoon of frozen time, 4 of his team dies. Meriday's the only one left alive. Medic is not going to pull off the 1v5 defense. Tries to defend, but that will be GG. L5 with the reverse sweep. And the clutch Stitches pickup. Wow.